Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. Well, it is the start of a new set. This is set 10. This is on the public beta environment, the PBE. This is actually taken from the very first day of the PBE. So this is an early look at set 10, Remix Rumble, which, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, don't want to buy into the hype train. But this does look like it is going to be a significantly better set than set 9, in part because the developers put a lot more time and developer resources into this one. Now, I also have to mention when you're playing on the PBE, the player base is greatly condensed. It is much different from the normal server. And sometimes you see players that you actually know. In this game with me is Emily Wong, who is a challenger streamer. I've watched her stream. She's very entertaining. Would encourage people to watch her. But she is in this game on her PBE account, so yeah, I actually have a challenger streamer who is in this game with me. No clue about the rest of the people, but I actually did recognize the name, and I immediately booted up Twitch, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the actual person. They're in the same game with me. I've had some of the streamers in my games occasionally, not very often, but once in a while you'll see they'll end up. Normally though, they're up in like Grandmaster or Challenger matchmaking, which is of course not where I am. But yeah, did end up getting one of them in this game. Okay, so what is new in this set? Well, this is a music-themed set. Lots and lots of musical characters. The biggest thing in this set, though, is the return of the Chosen mechanic. That is what I have in this game here. I immediately, in my shop, had a... they're called headliners in this set, but they're basically the Chosen mechanic back again, but they're now called headliners. I had a headliner in my shop. I got a drop on the initial minion round of Riven, who is a 3-cost. Riven's a 3-cost unit. Her traits are Edgelord and 8-bit. These are all new traits to me at this point in time, too. So when I saw that I had a 3-cost 8-bit unit in my shop, and then I also had an 8-bit headliner, I was like, okay, well, why don't we try to go ahead and maybe play through 8-bit in the early game? So just like the Chosen, headliners in your shop are guaranteed to come as a 2-star unit, so they always will show up as a 2-star unit. And in addition to that, one of their traits will be, you will get +1 to one of their traits. Quirky is 8-bit plus Big Shot, so he has gotten +1 to the Big Shot trait. He can also roll as +1 to 8-bit, so we've got that returning feature from set 4. Now, Chosen were one of the most popular mechanics ever in the history of TFT. And it's really cool that it's back again. Okay, so then I get this. Insert coin. Your 8-bit champions execute targets below 10% health. Executes have an 8% chance to drop 2 gold. Increase by 1% for each level of 8-bit that you have stacked up over the course of the game. So this is a trait. This actually synergizes perfectly with what I'm looking to play here. I was like, okay, I'm going to look to play through the 8-bit trait here. And I actually get an augment that synergizes with that as well, so that's quite nice. Now I have 5 Quirkies on my bench here. I was thinking maybe I'll try to go for 3-star Quirky, or at least let's see how many Quirkies we get. I already have 5 of them on stage 2-1, and then I can decide if I want to re-roll for this or if I want to just push levels. I can also use Corky as a transition unit towards Caitlyn, who is the 4-cost unit in an 8-bit team composition. And this is not a big vertically scaling trait. There's only 4 units that make up this trait. Now you might say, well, wait a minute, if there's only 4 units that make up this trait, I can see that it has 2, 4, and 6 as the trait options. Well, you have to remember every single trait, headliners can give +1 to the trait. So if you get an 8-bit headliner, that's +1 to the trait. So that gets you to 5, and then an emblem gets you to 6. This is actually a craftable emblem with a spatula recipe. I believe it is spatula plus bow is the recipe for this. Now, what's a bit unfortunate is my items are not particularly well suited to what I'm playing here. Quirky deals physical damage, so you would not want to put like a jeweled gauntlet on him. You'd want to make a physical damage item. So I have like half of a rage blade, which might be a good item on him. I'm not sure. I actually think he's more of an AD caster, so I'm not sure that rage blade is really that good of a unit item on him. But Infinity Edge seems like it would be pretty good. So that's what I'm kind of hoping to do with that glove. Maybe I can get a sword and make an Infinity Edge. And then maybe a Rage Blade, but we'll see. I just don't really have much use for rods in this team composition because the units that I'm playing are more physical damage in nature. Anyway, Riven seems like she's kind of like a melee DPS / tank is my impression here. She gains a shield and then deals bonus physical damage to enemies while she has her shield up. I believe that this is her ability from set 5. I think it's the same thing, but I'm not 100% sure. So I don't know, but why don't I, while we have a minute here, why don't I cover the 8-bit trait itself in more detail? Again, I'm very new to this set. This was literally played the first day of the set. I am also recording this the first day of the set, so I do not know any optimizations or anything like that. I just happened to be playing 8-bit in this game, and it went pretty well. Okay. 8-bit. 8-bit champions gain 5% attack damage. Begin keeping score of your team's damage dealt. For each high score you beat, 8-bit champions gain more attack damage. So there's a base 5% attack damage bonus, but then you continue getting more attack damage for every high score that's beaten. And that's the little, I have in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen, there is the little score indicator. That's how much damage the team has dealt. And then every time that ticks up to a new high score, you increase the AD bonus that your 8-bit champions are getting. So this is really an attack damage focused trait. You stack up more AD over the course of the game based on beating that high score. And there's actually 20 of these that exist out there. So you can potentially stack up to 20 times over the course of the game. I think I'm on the third one right now, something like that. And with 8-bit, what is it? With 8-bit 2, which is what I have in here, it is currently on PBE 1.75% more AD per high score. So I think I have 3 of these now, since I've just ticked over the 10,000 mark. So that would be, what is it? 1.75 times 3. That math is kind of awkward to do here. But yeah, I think it's like 5.5%. And again, that's going to keep stacking up over the course of the game. I'll try to highlight it. And then my augment gives me the execute ability, which the trait does not normally have, but I've got this execute enemies that are under 10% health. And then I have a small chance to get gold from killing them, but that goes up with more high scores as well. So I think it starts at 8% and now it's up to like 11 or 12%, and then that can keep stacking up. Okay, so on this carousel here, my top item I think would be the sword, because as I said, I'd like to make Infinity Edge, and there is a sword on this carousel. So I think I go, no, I actually do not end up going for that. That's right. That's right. I decided I would go for the bow because I had 2 out of 3 ribbons, and this would make, or no, this would give me a second ribbon, and it would allow me to kill that rod with a Rage Blade. Okay, so I'm misremembering how I did this here. That's it, but I hit the 2-star ribbon immediately because I had one in my shop. So this actually worked out really nicely. I'll go ahead and make this Rage Blade. I get 2 gold because that is our portal for this game. And yes, portals are back. Portals have returned from set 8. And the one that we have here is the one where every time you make a completed item, you gain a couple of points of gold. I think it's 2 gold. The portals are a bit less impactful, and I'm glad for that. They've toned them down a bit because the headliners are the big set mechanic in this particular set. Now, I had the option to level 5 here, but I didn't really have a unit to put in. I grabbed the Lilia here because I was thinking maybe I can go for 4 Sentinels. Play one on level 5 and another one on level 6. But then I say I'm going to win this game, so I opt to sell the Lilia, but then I got to execute with 2 gold drops, so I didn't actually have to end up doing that. So that was kind of a whoops moment. I should have waited to see if I was going to get the gold drop from executing enemies, but it's not that big of a deal. And at least I do get up to 20 gold. Unfortunately, I have not been on a win or loss streak pattern. I've gone loss, win, which is really not what you're looking for. But overall, I still think this game's off to a pretty good start. The unit I would most likely find is Caitlyn. Caitlyn is the next 8-bit unit, the last 8-bit unit, the only one I don't have. There's only 4 of them, as I said. Corki, a 1 cost. Garen, who is a 2 cost. Riven, who is a 3 cost. And then Caitlyn, who is a 4 cost. So I would like to get Caitlyn here, or find something that's +1 to 8-bit. As I said, it is a makeable emblem in this game. But in the meantime, I will just continue running what I have here. I'm looking to pick up Sentinel units because Garen is a Sentinel. Again, Sentinel is a tank trait. It looks like there's 3 main tank traits in this particular set. Sentinel, here I'll read the description. Your team gains armor and magic resistance. Sentinels gain double. So it's a pretty nice team-wide trait. Sentinel 2 doesn't give a ton of armor and MR. It gives currently 16 armor, 16 magic resistance. But, if I could get up to Sentinel 4, that would be 35 armor, 35 magic resist, and that would be doubled for Sentinel, so they'd have 70 armor and MR, while the rest of the team would get a bit of that benefit too. So, not bad. If I'm going to be playing 8-bit, I'm going to be innately playing into this trait regardless, because Garen's a Sentinel, and he's going to have to stay on the board if I'm playing 8-bit, so that makes sense. And can I actually win this round? Corki's in a 1v1 with Kale, and yeah, apparently he can. So, and I even get another 2 gold drop, which takes me over 30 gold, which is quite nice. So I'm off to a good econ start here. Didn't level to 5 because I really didn't have anything to put in. So yeah, I'm just going to continue hanging out here. Now I have the chance to play another unit because I'm level 5, and I was like, don't really know what else I'm going to play here. The one other unit that I have that's an 8-bit unit, I said, is Riven. Her other trait is Edgelord, but you need 3 units to activate that, so I have not really been picking up those units. Like, I guess I could pick up the Yasuo here that's in my shop, but I was more looking to go the Sentinel route, and I think that the Sentinel route actually makes more sense. Sentinels are tank units, so they're going to stall out the fight, but you kind of want long, stalled out fights when you're playing 8-bit because it gives more time for your units to stack up damage. Remember, the goal is you're trying to increase that high score counter, which, by the way, only functions in PvP rounds. It does not function in minion rounds, so that's not something viable here. But I think it's a good thing to just have a really tanky front line and have the fight stall out because it gives you more time to stack up damage for your high score. Or at least that's what I was thinking anyway. All right, so there's another Sentinel in the store, so I'm going to pick up this Mordekaiser. And again, as I said, I would like to find another Sentinel so I can play 4 Sentinel. I also got some more tank items here, which I don't think is terrible. So I was like, all right, this is Gargoyle Stoneplate. Now, I could look to make a Sunfire here, but I was like, let's go ahead and make this Gargoyle Stoneplate. And since I've only found 1 Garen the entire game, I was thinking that I would itemize Garen and use him as my main tank. After all, he has Sentinel trait. Riven does not have Sentinel trait. But I found 1 Garen the entire game. So at this point, I was like, all right, well, I think I'll look to maybe put my tank items on Riven instead. Because, she does get the 8-bit bonuses. She seems like the best person to hold this Gargoyle Stoneplate over a 1-star Garen. So I'm kind of mis-itemizing my tanks here. I kind of have multiple units itemized, which is not ideal. It's almost always better to have 1 tank that gets all your tank items because items scale multiplicatively in Teamfight Tactics. You don't really want like 4 champs who all have 1 item. You want like 1 champ who has the max items you can get. Okay. Time for another augment. Augments are still around, of course. Many of them are back from previous sets. I'm looking at the options here. I'm like, I don't really love any of these. I see Bigger Shot. I was like, ooh, that would buff up Corki. But then I was like, wait a minute. Am I really going to play into Big Shot trait later on? I don't think I am. So because I've been seeing so few Corkis, remember I got 5 Corkis on stage 2-1, but I have not seen a single additional Corki the entire game thus far. So I was like, I don't think I'm going to play into Big Shot. Let's just take Harm Assist instead. This is like the old Celestial Blessing. It was in set 8. Your units heal. Your units basically get innate healing. And then I'm looking at this, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, there's some more Garens. I could try to go for Garen 3-star. Maybe I should just pick these up. And then I see that I'm only 1 away from Pentakill trait. So I was like, all right, you know what? I was thinking I was going to play 4 Sentinels. But I'm not seeing that many Sentinels right now. By the way, this person is just complete open fording. I really have no clue what they're doing. Since I'm not seeing that many Sentinels, I was like, all right, well, let's drop back down to 2 Sentinels, and we'll play Pentakill instead because I found an early Karthus. I found a Karthus at, I think, 2% odds, or maybe it was 5% odds, but I did see the early Karthus. So I will look to play Pentakill, and past me is helpfully highlighting what this does. This is not going to be a Pentakill featured game, but I'll play it for right now. Pentakill champion introduced incoming damage by 15%. Let me finish reading that because my past self stopped highlighting the Pentakill trait. Pentakill champion introduced incoming damage by 15%. Deal bonus damage for each champion kill. A Pentakill champion rocks out, increases their damage bonus by 25%. On the 5th kill, all Pentakill champions rock out, and your team gains 50% attack speed. So that's actually pretty nice. If I can kill 5 units and I have Pentakill trait in play, my team will gain 50% attack speed, which will be pretty good on Corki. So yeah, I'm gonna take out the K'Sante and replace with the Kale, and that will activate Pentakill trait. So now we've got 8-bit Pentakill, Big Shot, and Sentinel traits in play. We are also only 1 away from Edgelord trait, but I don't end up going that way in this particular game. And then I also found Blitzcrank, who is a 4-cost Sentinel, so I will definitely hold that on the bench. I actually can't get him into the team right now, but I was like, all right, this is just a good unit. Blitz is just a good champ in general, 4-cost Sentinel, probably going to be the core tank unit for a lot of team compositions in this set. I was like, all right, well, I'll just hold on to this unit. By the way, I'm up against someone who has not lost a single round on the game yet, and this is close. It's actually really big if I can kill this unit. I'm also getting some nice execution gold here as well. And yeah, I actually do manage to win that and end their win streak. So that's a big deal. I keep my win streak going. I actually push it out to the full 5 rounds, and I interrupt their win streak. So a really, really crucial round from an econ perspective. And I'm just going to continue stacking up 8-bit and yeah, continue onwards here into the next carousel. All right, So again, I wouldn't mind the spatula here, but of course I'm last pick, so I'm not likely to get that, and indeed that gets snapped up immediately. As I said, I wouldn't mind trying to make this an 8-bit spatula, and then if I could find an 8-bit headliner later on, maybe that would be helpful. But no, that's not there, so I still have this glove on my bench. Again, I'd like a sword for Infinity Edge, but that's gone, so I was like, all right, well, out of these options right here, I guess I'll go ahead and take this belt, and then I can at least make a Warmogs. That seems like it would be pretty good, so I can go double belt, and that'll just be a good tank item in general. By the way, here is a note that there's an Ezreal in the shop. I ended up seeing a ton of Ezreals in this game. Ezreal is a big shot, so he does share a trait with Corki. But as I said, I thought I wanted to go the 8-bit route because I had an augment that increased the value of 8-bit units, because I had that thing that gave me an execute. Because I'm on a full match winning streak, I decide I will just level to level 7 early. It only cost me 20 gold to do so, and if that maintains win streak, then it's very worthwhile. And I'll just slap Blitzcrank on the board. He doesn't make any traits. Again, he's a Sentinel unit. He's a Sentinel plus Disco, which is a trait I want to experiment with at some point, but have not had a chance to do so just yet. Disco is basically Jade trait back from set 7. Gives you a little disco ball you can put on the board that units that stand up next to it get additional healing and attack speed. But anyway, even though he doesn't make any traits, he's just in general good unit, so I'm happy to put him on the board here. This person is actually playing a disco board. You can actually see the disco ball on the on the field there. And they're re-rolling for Bard. That actually emerged early on as a kind of a popular build. Bard re-roll was supposed to be pretty strong, and they're the only ones going for it, so they'll probably be able to hit before the end of this game. But in any case, I'm just kind of rolling along here. I'm on a 6-match winning streak. I really hope that I can win this next round, because we're about to hit the minion stage, and that would be really nice to have full win streak going into that. So hopefully I'll be up against a weaker player. Now, you see me grab the Senna here, and the reason for that is I know that Kate's traits are going to be 8-bit plus rapid fire. So at this point, I'm thinking, Corki's been good so far, but I had 5 Corkis on 2-1. I still have 5 Corkis on 3-6. I have not seen any Corkis. I think the plan is we're going to have to sell and replace this Corki later on, and we'll try to replace him with Kate. So the way that the headliners work, you are actually guaranteed to get a headliner in every single store if you don't have one on your team. Now, I do have one on my team. Corki's giving me Big Shot trait because that's his headliner trait. But yeah, if I sell the Corki, then I will start seeing a headliner every single shop. If you do have a headliner in, you will see one every 4 shops. And by the way, it looks like I'm going to win this round, so that's fantastic, again, from an econ perspective. But so that's a big change from the Chosen mechanic. Chosen in set 4, you could not get a new Chosen if you already had a Chosen on the board. Yeah, look at that income. By the way, I also got a bunch of executes that round too, so I'm making a lot of gold here. But yeah, you could not get a Chosen in set 4 if you had one on your team. So you can get them, or a headliner here in this set. Like you can see, I have an Amumu headliner in my store right now. But they only pop up once every 4 rounds, whereas if you don't have one, they pop up every round. So if you're trying to upgrade, it can absolutely be worthwhile to just dump the current headliner if you want to look for a new one. I would most like to find one that has the 8-bit trait, which would be nice. But like if I could find a Caitlyn headliner that has rapid fire trait, that would be nice as well. If not, I'll have to find a rapid fire unit to play with her so that she can activate both of her traits. All right, we're getting close to the end of where are we? We're on stage 3-7 now. Okay, I guess we still have a little ways to go. So I'm looking here. I'm going to try to go to level 8 and then roll down on level 8. And one of the big changes in this set, yeah, I'm just going to go right here. They actually changed the leveling timings around. It costs different amounts now to hit the levels. The odds in the shop are different now. And by the way, I find a Cassante, so I will just go ahead and play 4 Sentinels here. By the way, and then I find an Echo who's a better Sentinel, so I'll just make that swap. I'm really looking for Caitlyn here, and I'm trying to find her. She's not being played by anyone else in the lobby, so I think I have pretty good odds to find her. And out of these items here, I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and make Hand of Justice. I don't think it's amazing, but again, I really have little use for tiers in this comp. So we'll just go ahead and make a Hand of Justice. I think that's the best way I can make use of that. Also could have potentially looked to make Last Whisperer. I don't think that would have been terrible, but now I'm kind of hoping I can make Giant Slayer for my 3rd item. I think Giant Slayer would be a good use of that final bow, and it'll be very good against high health targets. Anyway, this person has a very tanky Urgot. Looks like they're playing, I'm not sure exactly what they're playing. I don't know all the traits just yet. Looks like they have Country trait in, because that's one of Urgot's 2 traits. And then we get Prismatic for a last augment. I never liked these Prismatic augments. I was like, all right, what do we have here? Here's a new one, Talent Search. All your champions gain their unique headliner effects. In addition, your headliner gains 150 health and 15% attack speed. I was like, out of the options here, that's probably the best. It's that or Final Ascension. But I think this is probably the best option. So every unit now gets their headliner bonus. And yeah, that big shot is tempting, but again, no, I want to play into 8-bit trade. I think that's the way to go. I'm just like, where is Caitlyn? And of course, I'm rolling very slow here because it's the first day of the set, and I don't know all these champions. Yeah, and there I've seen so many Ezreals. You see past me highlighting that. It's like, geez, can I find a Caitlyn? No one's playing this unit. It shouldn't be that hard to find. There's yet another Ezreal. It's like the 5th Ezreal I've seen so far. So I'm rolling here, rolling here, rolling here. I have found some decent stuff, but I actually have quite a few pairs here. So yeah, I've not quite managed to put it together yet. So right now I have a Kale pair, I have a Garen, I have an extra Garen, I have a Karthus pair, I have a Blitzcrank pair, and then I have another pair of Corkis on the bench. Again, those Corkis are there so I can sell and replace Corki. Again, I want to move these items over to Caitlyn because it seems obvious by now I'm not going to hit Blitz 3-star. And if that's not the case, then it's better to move these items over to Caitlyn. So yeah, I have kind of torched my econ, but I do think it was the right play here because my board is going to start to fall off pretty severely if I can't upgrade from Corki. Corki's a 1 cost. He just doesn't do enough damage to carry the damage load as we head into the middle portion of Stage 4 and then Stage 5. I'm going to have to upgrade him to a better carry or it's just not going to be sufficient. Anyway, there's Mordekaiser. So again, I have so many pairs on my board right now. I think I have 4 or 5 pairs. There's a Sentinel Echo is actually kind of tempting. That might not be bad either because then I could... that wouldn't have been terrible either, but I didn't want to move out of the Corki. That actually would have opened up the chance to play 6 Sentinels, which I think might have been pretty good here. But I was like, no, I don't want to sell the Corki until I can find a Caitlyn to replace him. I want to make sure that I still have this unit in play while I want to hold my current headliner until I can find at least one Caitlyn. I don't want to go down to 1-star Corki being my main carry. That feels like a bad play. All right, anyway, by the way, we do want to mention this is the round. I haven't seen Emily's PBE account for quite some time, Emily Wong, the Challenger streamer I mentioned. I went back and watched her stream after this game, and she was basically just trying random stuff. This was not an optimized game in any way, and she kind of got caught with some augments that didn't really make a lot of sense. She was basically playing through a Superfan augment, but like didn't really have the team configured for it, and was basically just kind of messing around in this game. So definitely not the experience you would have gotten from like a ranked game. But yeah, I ended up winning this round pretty easily, and this was not this was a game that's not going to go on the highlight reel for her particular game, which is a bit of a shame. But good news for me that I caught a game where the Challenger streamer was just kind of messing around and not playing too seriously. All right, so we got to another carousel. I've been on a pretty good streak here. I did lose the beginning of this stage, but I think I've won 7 of the last 8 rounds or something like that. Again, I still wanted that sword because I was trying to make a Giant Slayer, but that's not an option. So out of what's left over here, I was like, all right, well, based on what I have here, I'll go ahead and take the glove. That can be a Last Whisper. I think these are pretty wonky items. I don't think these are ideal items for a potential Caitlyn, but I mean... you gotta work around what you get here. So I'll go ahead, do this. Maybe I should have waited for the item component anvil, but oh well. Anyway, I'm continuing to pass on Rivens and Echoes here. I could maybe have tried to go for Riven 3-star, but oh, this is a great start for me. 2-star Blitz and a Lucian. Okay, that's great. So Lucian's really big because again, Kate's traits are Rapid Fire and 8-bit. So my plan here is need to find Kate. When I find Caitlyn, I will take out the Corki. I'll sell the Corki and transfer his items. I'll take out the Pentakill units. I'll take out the Karthus, take out the Kale. Then Lucian will go in and Caitlyn will go in. And then that gets us Rapid Fire trait, and it gets us 4 8-bit, which is going to be pretty nice because 8-bit's stacked up pretty far at this point. I think I have like 10 or 11 high scorers out of the 20 that you can potentially get. I have quite a few of them by this point. It's so early in the set, I can't tell you what... 113,000 does. By the way, I thought I was going to have to lock my shop, but I got a couple executes, and then I was just able to flat out sell and replace. So yeah, Lucian's going to pair with Caitlyn, so they both have Rapid Fire trait. And I'm just waiting for Kate to show up. I'm like, Kate, where are you? There's no one playing Kate in this lobby. No one's playing 8-bit trait other than me. Where is this unit? I'm honestly amazed I haven't seen it yet. I've seen so many 4 costs and not seen this. So I think I've actually been kind of unlucky here, all things considered. So I'm still rolling here. I'm like, Jesus, when is this unit going to show up? Is it ever going to appear? And then she finally shows up. So now let's make that replacement. Kate's going to go in. The Kale and the Karthus come out. It sucks to move out of the Karthus because that was a two-star 4 cost, but didn't really fit my team. Now that I've moved out of these, I don't have slots for this unit, unfortunately. And we can drop the Kale. And yeah, this is going to be the core of the board. 4 8-bit, 4 Sentinel, 2 Rapid Fire. So kind of a vertical trait here, but I think this ended up working reasonably well. Now if I can just 2-star the Kate and 2-star the Lucian, but Lucian is a 5 cost, so I'm not really expecting that, then I'll be in pretty good shape. All right, now I'm up against this player. This person has hit 3-star Bard. So yeah, you can see they've got the, they've got Shojin, the Rage Blade, and then Gnasher's Tooth, all of which seems pretty good. Kate is doing a lot of damage, though. She does get caught in a Nami bubble, but she's healing off the Hand of Justice, and remember, I have Harmess's trait. I was like, oh my god, do I actually win this round against this player? Yeah, apparently. And Kate did 11,000 damage, so okay, you know, for a 1-star Kate, that was pretty awesome. Harmess's trait was incredible there. I healed so much damage between the Hand of Justice and the Harmess's trait. So yeah, that actually worked pretty well. And there we go. We have 13 stacks on high score. I went past it kind of quickly there, but 44% damage bonus. Now that I have that, so 8-bit 4. Let me just look it up here. 8-bit 4 is 3% for high score, and yeah. So if I have what is it? I had 3 of them. So it's 3% per high score. I had 13 high scores. That's 39%. And then you get an innate 5%. So that's how the 44% came in. But yeah, 44% AD bonus. So maybe Kate's itemization isn't actually that bad because she doesn't really need AD. She kind of gets AD from her trait. So she doesn't really need it on her items as much. By the way, that we get back to 2-star Urgot. And note that I'm seeing a headliner on every single roll. That Riven one is kind of tempting, but no, that's only going to put me to 2 out of 3 edgelords. That's not actually going to help me there. And we're still rolling here. Can I find one more Kate? Country, no, that's not. So Thresh is Guardian trait, which is another tank trait, but I'm Sentinel, not Guardian. So I was like, all right, let's go ahead and make a Bramble Vest. That's not bad. And then I put this on Lucian. And then I forget I have an item anvil. I was like, oh, I should have pulled the item anvil first. Yeah, I would have made a redemption. I would have gone ahead and made redemption here, but I didn't have that, so I was like, all right, we'll make another Hand of Justice. It's not terrible on Lucian. Looks like we're going to lose to Yasuo here. This was, again, played on the first day of PBE, and Yasuo was extremely overtuned. He's a 1-cost unit, but as you can see, this 1-cost unit just kind of effortlessly cut through a board full of 4- and 5-cost units. So, yeah, this unit got nerfed immediately thereafter. But he permanently gains attack damage when killing enemy champs, and you can see he has 100% AD, something wild like that. So yeah, I'm still rolling. I'm still looking for a headliner that would fit my board. No, that's not going to work. The Blitz is actually quite interesting. I actually really wish that this was a Sentinel Blitz, but it's a Disco Blitz, and unfortunately that only gets me to 2 out of 3. So I was like, all right, I will pass on that. But the Disco Blitz was very intriguing. That also would have taken me to 6 blitzes. And this is a change, by the way, that the developers have made. This is one of the biggest changes in the sets. So, like, note that I have a 2-star blitz on my board. And then there was another headliner blitz in the store. Well, that right there would take me to 6 blitzes, which is pretty close to the 9 you need for a 3-star. So 4-cost 3-stars have been very, very common here on PBE, and the developers have actually made a change that's going to affect that. So before the set started, before PBE released, they changed it so the number of 4-cost units, the number of 4-cost units in the pool has been 12 for ages and ages and ages. I think most people know this, but TFT uses a shared pool of units. Everybody pulls from the same bag, essentially. And there's been 12 4-cost units for ages. Well, they went down to 11 before the set started. By the way, there's another Kate, so I'll just pick this up. So they went down to 11, and in the first PBE patch, they're actually going to change this to 10. So instead of there being 12 copies, there's only going to be 10 copies. That means you're going to have 9 out of 10 to hit a 4-star 3-cost instead of 9 out of 12, which is what it's been traditionally. So that's to make it harder to hit the 4-star 3-cost. It does mean that there's going to be a lot fewer units available. So like if 3 people are playing the same team cost, there's only going to be 10 of those 4 costs available, not 12. That's a lot fewer. So that's a pretty big change. And like I said, I think that's the single biggest change in this set. So they're adjusting this to work around the fact that the headliners do give you 3 copies of a champion. So different shop odds, different leveling. It's now going to be possible to go to level 10 in every game without having level up augment. That's a big change. The odds to get the units in the shop have changed, and then the number of units in the pool, as I said, they've changed as well. By the way, this person has a 2-star Jin, who's another 5 cost. I think this person just went to level 9 and is just playing, yeah, with Hedge Fund Plus, and is just playing random legendary units. All right, so we have another carousel. I have lost 2 out of the last 3 rounds, but I do think my board is getting there. I really wanted the Lucian. That would have been Lucian 2-star. Lucian's also a 5 cost, but that gets taken, so that's not an option. And I'm going to be the last pick here. The Giant Slayer is already gone. That would have been nice. So I was like, all right, well, I'll take the Dragon's Claw for Blitzcrank, but nope, that's not available either. So I was like, all right, well, I'll take this this Jazz emblem. I think that's the best I can do with this. And so that'll put Jazz trait in play. Blitzcrank has the Jazz trait, so this will get me 2 out of 3 Jazz. And Jazz trait's a really fun one. It's basically Stand United. For every non-unique trait active, your team gains bonus. What is it? My past self only highlighted that for a second. But it's Stand United Augment. For each non-unique trait active, your team gains bonus health and deals bonus damage. So Jazz 2 is for each trait 2% health, 1% damage. So what is it? I have 4 traits in. That's 8% health, 4% damage. This is not really a good team to be playing into Jazz trait because I'm pretty vertical here on the 8-bit and Sentinel. But, I mean, I think it was better than anything else I could take off that carousel. So, yeah, sure, I'll take 8% more health and 4% more damage on everything. That sounds pretty good to me. I'm back up against the Bard 3-star player. I very narrowly beat this player the last time I was against them. And now that I have 2-star Kate, yeah, I think she's doing pretty well. I should probably cover what Caitlyn's abilities do. Let's do it after this combat round. Yeah, Kate and Lucian are kind of carrying me. Yeah, there we go. I actually did manage to win this. Okay, so Kate, as I mentioned, she is the 4-cost unit, so she's intended to be the main carry in an 8-bit unit. 8-bit team composition, 8-bit rapid fire. Her ability is called Champion Hunt. Line up shots at the 4 furthest enemies. Shots deal physical damage to the first enemy hit. Headliner effect is 10% additional AD. Champion Hunt gains 1 additional shot. So she has 4 shots and deals physical damage. Costs 90 mana. So you can see when her mana bar fills up, she fires normally 4 shots. 5 shots if she's the headliner. And I guess she's not actually the headliner. I actually don't have a headliner right now. That's why I'm seeing one in the shop every single round. But yeah, this seems to be working pretty well. I've got a very tanky front line with the 4 Sentinel. Blitz has an awful lot of health. He's got the Bramble Claw. That's why I said I would have liked the Dragon's Claw. By the way, these items have been reworked slightly. They have a little bit different setup, but I'm not going to go into that right now. This is the Yasuo player. I actually positioned Kate on the right-hand side so she would focus Yasuo early in the fight, and that's exactly what she did. That Yasuo has a ton of damage, but he's not actually very tanky, and Kate continues cutting through him. And then I guess the other thing I should cover is Rapid Fire trait, because I honestly didn't remember what this did as I was recording this video. I wanted to look it up for myself. Rapid Fire, your team gains 10% attack speed. Rapid Fire champs gain more in every attack up to 10 stacks. Okay, so it's stacking attack speed. Gotcha. So maybe there's some anti-synergy there with the Rage Blade, but on the other hand, it does allow her to stack up the, get her 10 stacks faster. So maybe that's not so bad after all. All right, now out of options here, there's actually a Pentakill Karthus. I probably should have looked to pick this up because I could have grabbed this and then Karthus could have been my headliner and he would have put Pentakill trait back in play and he would have just come as a 2-star unit immediately. So I probably should have just grabbed this. Instead, I had this Alawi and I was looking to play the Alawi, but I think that a 2-star Karthus who put Pentakill trait in play would have been a lot better. And then, oh, okay. Well, there is also this possibility. There is an 8-bit Caitlyn headliner. So I was like, okay, I could just play this if I want to. I'm going to go ahead and put the Alawi in, but I think maybe I should have just played the Caitlyn. Even with no items, I think maybe I should have just played her as well. She would have given me 5 8-bit, but she also just would have been another 2-star Caitlyn. So anyway, the dilemma here, though, is I've already fully itemized another Caitlyn. So, I could sell the Kate I have right now and transfer it over to the headliner Kate, because, again, I'm not playing a headliner right now. But on the other hand, I have 7 Caitlyn, so I only need 2 more for Kate 3-star. So I was like, all right, I'm winning these rounds anyway. Let's just hold here and see if we can find the last 2 Caitlyns. If I can get, like, 1 champion duplicator. By the way, this round is super close as well, but I do manage to win. I was like, if I can find 1 more Caitlyn, maybe there's 1 more on Carousel. I'm really close to 3-star Kate, so I'm just going to hold here for right now. And I do end up playing the Alawi. She is a generic frontline. She is a frontliner. She's the top bruiser frontliner. By the way, a nice roll there as well. I get the 2-star Lucian. I am level 9. It kind of doesn't feel like it because now there's the option to go to level 10, but I am level 9, so I do have good odds to hit the 5 plus. Not as good as before. I have 10%. I believe they were either 12% or 15% before, so they are slightly lower. And now you can go up to level 10, but that's another 80 gold. Doesn't look like that's going to happen because you can see there's not a lot of health left in this lobby. Anyway, so Alawi's the top bruiser champion. She puts these tentacles on the board that are additional, deal additional damage. And the general perception has been that Alawi's kind of overtuned, at least in this first patch. So that's partly why I'm playing her. But yeah, I could have played that Karthus. That might have been better. I think my front line was already good enough. But yeah, I'm looking pretty good. I won that. That was a ghost round. I'm assuming ghost rounds are still buggy because they've been buggy forever. And I'm almost at the next high score. I think I'm on like 18. I think I'm on like 18 high score increases or something like that. By the way, I might have been able to get 3-star Blitz as well if I'd gone for that Blitz headliner. So as you can imagine, a lot of different opportunities, a lot of stuff that you can do here. And I should probably be rolling here, but I thought, you know what? Let's wait here. If I lose this round, I'll see if I can get a Kate off carousel and then roll for the Kate 3-star. And if I win this round, then the game's probably over anyway. But that's why I just stopped here and held off for a round. The other player that's left here is the Bard 3-star player, and I have been winning against this person. So I'm hoping that I can beat them. Now, they do have a 2-star Zac up there, so for another solid frontliner. But I'm not sure that their team really has that much damage. They're very tanky, but I'm not sure they have that much damage. They pretty much just have the Bard, who is a 3-star unit, but I feel like my team outputs a lot more damage. I've got the Lucian, by the way, as well. So my next item off carousel will definitely try to be a Lucian item. But like the big thing I have here is I have all that healing. I've got the double Hand of Justices, and I have Harm Assist. And the healing was actually really critical there because Kate and Lucian would have died without that. So itemization for the win, a good augment for the win, and it's a first place. So there we go. The other games I played were not first places, but I have done reasonably well here on the PBE, which is a weird place to be competing. I know that, but still, better to win than to lose. All right, so anyway, first day of the set, a lot going on here. I do think this is going to be a very promising set because it's basically the best mechanic they ever had in Teamfight Tactics, the Chosen mechanic coming back again, plus augments, and they actually toned down the augments in the portal, so like they're more reasonable than they were in the past. So looks very promising. We'll see what happens, but I will say the first day seemed like it was off to a good start. So once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, take care, folks.